Did you know that Blox Fruits was released 2,117 days ago? And throughout the years, the game has gone through so many major changes, so I asked you guys to give me a list of the top things that only Blox Fruits OGs will remember. Starting with thing number 1, commented by Koopa Cool, only an OG will remember when they used to update the game. Yes, that is correct. The last time Blox Fruits updated was Update 23 Winter Update Part 1, and this was released on Christmas of 2023. So almost 1 year ago. And in that update, they dropped the brand new T-Rex fruit as well as the shipwright subclass. And we're gonna talk about some of these updates in more detail later, but for now, let's move on to thing number 2. Back when Blox Fruits had events. Yeah, so in addition to updates, Blox Fruits used to host regular events. The last one was actually during Update 23. It was the Christmas event where you were able to kill NPCs to collect a bunch of candy, trade them in for special exclusive rewards. There was also present boxes that dropped from the sky. And if you were a real OG, you will remember the Halloween event where you could open these dark chests. Also the Easter event where you open Easter eggs to get free fruits. And there was also the 1 billion visitors event where you can collect confetti to trade for exclusive items. Yeah, none of those cool events exist anymore. So if you started playing Blox Fruits recently, you would have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, thing number 3. I gotta just stop calling it things. When the max level cap was 300. So that is correct. Then you gotta be a real OG to remember that, because the 300 level cap was when the game was first released in Update 1. As you can see from this video right here, it says level 300 bracket max. Nowadays, you could get to max level in probably like 2 hours. Now, I'm not even OG enough to remember something like this because when I started playing, I think the level cap was 1,525. Alright, up next, it would be a total Blox Fruits OG if you remember the game wasn't even called Blox Fruits. You would be calling it Blox Peace. And the fruit wasn't just called fruit, they used to be called demon fruit. Yeah, so you would definitely have to be an OG to know this because the name was changed 5 years ago on Christmas of 2019. This was called the anti-copyright update, so I'll let y'all guess why the name was changed. So the next comment, which I think not even the OGs who started playing from day 1 will remember, is back when there were no exploiters or hackers. When was this? As far as I know, Blox Fruits has always had hackers since the day the game came out. And to prove my point, I found a video from 5 years ago called a Blox Peas hack, infinite belly fruit, auto farm TP chat. Look at this, look at this. This guy is making so much money. Yeah, I wonder if this still works today. Yeah, that is not a thing. No OGs remember this. And I've been playing Blox Fruits for over 3.5 years. So let me know in the comments for how long do you have to have played Blox Fruits to be considered an OG. Up next, Tungo Egg said when they destroyed Blox Fruit dealer cousin and replaced him with the most evil scammer. Surely you don't mean this guy right here, do you? Yep. The most evil scammer. I completely agree with that sentiment. Now, of course, I am old enough to remember the Blox Fruit dealer cousin, but I'll do you one even better. Who remembers when there wasn't even a Blox Fruit dealer at all? And when we were on the subject of events earlier, the Blox Fruit dealer cousin was actually added back in Update 13 as a Christmas event where you would trade candies for random fruits. It was removed and then eventually permanently added into the game and then permanently removed again. This next one really hurts, man. OGs will remember the painful inventory when you needed to go all the way to Middletown to switch items. Yeah, the whole thing where you can just press menu and items and you get access to everything, sword, gun, accessory that you have. This did not exist back in the day. When you had a sword and you wanted to switch to another sword, doesn't matter where you were, you had to come back and find the chest that was lying around here, go up to it and switch through your items. This is something that OGs will remember, but definitely will not miss. So the Pickle God, who is an OG at Blox Fruits, remembers that every fruit was built like a cube, except the spike being the blue rectangle. But instead of remembering, let me just show it to you guys. How many of you guys were playing Blox Fruits when the fruits look like these? Yeah, I don't know what happened to that bomb fruit over there. I guess it exploded. And the fruit actually went through a total of 2 iterations of reworks before being what they are today. A lot of people prefer the old look and many like the newer look. If you were to ask me for my opinion, I would say that I don't care. Speaking of the shapes of the fruits, apparently you would also be a Blox Fruits OG if you remember when the fruits were round? Okay, when I first saw this comment, I thought it was just complete bull. but many people have commented the same thing. So now I'm thinking it might have been true. All right, up next, we're gonna do a little exercise together. I want you to close your eyes and picture in your head what the pick a side screen looks like when you have to choose between pirate and marine. Now open your eyes. What you pictured in your head, did it look like this? Because if it did, then you're clearly not an OG in Blox Fruits. Because originally the old screen looked like this. Yeah, that is Buggy the Clown for some reason. But the only explanation on why I think this was changed was once again to avoid copyright issues. But if I take a closer look at this pirate here actually does closely resemble that one guy. Blox Fruits better watch out because One Piece is gonna come for you for this one. All right, this next one had a lot of likes, so a lot of OGs remembered that the light sword was a separate ability. Now, I couldn't verify if this was true or not, but what I was able to check was that in update 1 of Blox Fruits, there was actually no light sword at all. So as you can see, Uncle Kizaru here with the light ability, and there's no sword in his hand. And there is also no ability to bring out a sword either. And in his revamped light fruit video, you could clearly see that the light sword is now in his hand. So I think this OG just remembered wrong, and I don't blame him. It's been many years, but I think the light fruit just went from not having a sword to having a sword. Next, Blox Fruits OGs remember how cool combat looked and how weird the dashes were. Yeah, your character just flailing around his arms and legs, trying desperately to land a hit on your opponent. And this is what combat looks like now. There's actually fluid motion to your punches, you know, follow it up with like an uppercut, bam. I will agree though, the dashes did look really weird before they changed up the animation on that. Now the dashes are like, do like a running dash. This makes a lot more sense to me. So on top of the old combat look, as well as the weird dashes, the OGs will also remember the old running animation, which if you take a look at it, it's not even really running, it's just like faster walking. All right, for this next one, I don't know what sort of alternate dimension or universe this person lived in, but he said, you're a Blox Fruits OG if you remember when stored fruits could be dropped. I'm sorry, bro. I forget a lot of things, but that never happened. I was playing Blox Fruits back in the day when there was not even a store fruit option. All you could do is eat or drop, all right? This is starting to turn into like Blox Fruits Mythbusters. But while we're on the subject, there is one feature that OGs might remember that was true, and it was when you couldn't unstore fruits from your inventory in the first sea. So once you stored a fruit, you couldn't take it out. But thankfully, the developers' minds cleared up and removed that very stupid feature. So if you knew that fact, then you would be a Blox Fruits OG. But let me take it a step further. If you're even more OG than this OG, then you will remember a time when you couldn't even store fruits at all. That was before a Blox Fruits update 15 drop. There was no fruit storage. There was no fruit storage capacity. So once you have a fruit and you spin for a new one, if you didn't like it, all you could do was drop it. I will say that is probably my favorite feature in the game that got removed because it launch started my YouTube career, okay? I had a magma fruit, I spun for a smoke, I didn't want to eat it, and while trying to drop it, I accidentally ate it. Oh, classic MeEnyu, man. All right, these next two are pretty intense, guys, so brace yourselves. You would be a Blox Fruits OG if you remember there was no boat dealer in the prison. So just referring to this video from way back in the day, as you can see here at the prison, there was no boat dealer. And what makes it worse is the game taunts you by having a remove Blox Fruit NPC at the prison. So the only way for you to escape is by removing your Blox Fruit so you can swim across the sea. So if you did not have a fruit that allowed you to fly, you are stuck. Step, bro. Not really. That's weird. This second one probably brings back so much PTSD trauma to the OGs, is that there was no safe zone at the Blox Fruit dealer cousin in the jungle. Every time you would spin for a fruit and just get killed. And once upon a time, there was a man named Sizzle that abused this fact to no end. He would trick players to go into the jungle to spin for a fruit, hide in a tree like some sort of monkey, and kill them as they get their fruit. This man is more evil than the Blox Fruits developers. All right, here's a good one. How many of you OGs remember when the revive fruit, the resurrection skill turned you into a skeleton instead of like a green slime? And then you would also be able to use the good old-fashioned Buddha glitch and turn yourself into a giant Buddha skeleton. Yeah, I gotta say, the skeleton definitely looks a lot cooler than the slime. And of course, guys, I did not forget about the revive as well as some other fruits. But first, who remembers when Blox Fruits used to actually copy One Piece? Exhibit A, the OG shiny dark blade. And this thing looked almost exactly like Mihawk's Yoru. And I mean, even the way that it's attached to your back was just like Mihawk's Yoru. And then they quite literally killed the dark blade and turned it into a mummy. Exhibit B, the fruits used to have repeated names just like in One Piece. Like for example, IB main here using the magma no mi. Now they just shortened that to just magma. And if you take a look at the left side of the screen where the money is, you will see that the currency was actually in bellies, just like the currency in One Piece. At one point, this game was so similar to One Piece that they even had poneglyphs added into the game. There's a clip I got from Newbie. Just look at him standing in front of this massive poneglyph. It was huge. You couldn't miss it. They removed it very quickly. Nobody really ever found out what the reason for having them in the game is. Maybe it was to tell us where the One Piece was. The OG Blox fruits had a lot of One Piece references. Now they're much bigger Naruto fans. You got the Kamui, you got the Amaterasu, the Sharingan. Blox fruits owners love Naruto way more than One Piece. Even the sand coffin. This is literally Gaara's move, okay? The crocodile has never even done anything like this. Another piece of evidence that Blox fruits owners love Naruto more than One Piece. Instead of summoning homies, you use your summoning jutsu to summon toads like Jiraiya. This is all toads. I mean, it shouldn't come as a surprise when the Blox fruit co-owner himself, Indra, is literally named after the originator of the Uchiha clan. Alright, moving on. Which one of you OGs remember that the NPC that awakens your devil fruit at the end of a raid used to be Windlock Toad as opposed to a mysterious entity, which is just a gray cube now. Yeah, this dude is looking super adorable. See, I wasn't even around when that was the case, to be honest. When I first started doing raids after playing Blox fruits, the fruit awakening expert was actually me. No, like, I'm not joking. Look, there's me right there. NUZ. Ascend me. All right, I just want to clarify that the NPC was whoever your avatar was. Okay, so it wasn't me. It was all of us. Up next, you're an OG if you remember when you had to find the island to grind at without a quest tracker. Yeah, the little compass thing here that told you where to go to find your next quest. That didn't exist for the longest time ever. Okay, finding where to go was almost impossible. Everyone was just channeling their inner Zoro, getting lost all over the place. Yeah, no quest tracker on the screen whatsoever. I would just spend countless hours getting lost trying to find where I was going. Luckily, I did most of my Blox fruits grinding on stream, so I had amazing viewers that told me where to go. Otherwise, I probably would have never reached max level on my own. You would be a Blox fruits OG if you remember that if you died while grinding, you will always respawn back at your home point and not the island that you were just grinding on. Yo, thinking about this just pisses me off. And this was before the door or portal fruit was released, so you'd have to run all the way back to the island you were grinding on and hope that you remember to set the home point. All right, before my heart rate goes up, let's move on. Which one of you OGs remember Spectator mode or the free cam mode? Just because you've been playing Blox fruits for a long time doesn't mean you will remember this, because first of all, it was not put into the game on purpose. Second of all, it was only around for like a couple of days before they removed it completely. So basically what happened was, if you press Shift P on your keyboard, then you would be able to just pan your camera around to anywhere on the map as if you were in spectator mode. It's like a cool little experience. It gets rid of all the UI on the screen too. It's actually very, very useful. All right, this next one, a lot of you OGs might remember, but are still trying to forget to this day. I mean, I'm still having nightmares about it. The Blox fruits dating event. What this guy meant was actually the Blox fruits dating simulator for God knows what reason. And of course, I had to play it. And what do you know? There's our good old friend Windlock Toad. Definitely not the most pleasing to look at visually. And what the f is that? I'm still wondering what the f that is today. Yeah, it was a whole dating simulator game where you get to chat with a bunch of admins for some reason. I beat the whole game, but I did not enjoy it. All right, this next one probably had over like 1,000 entries, and that is the kilo. The kilo. 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 The kilo. 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 Yo, you know like the Squidward meme? Can you do that? Now, you might think you're an OG and remember the kilo fruit looking something like this. Wrong. Only real OGs will remember that the kilo fruit actually looked like this. Yeah, back in my day, that was the kilo fruit. Y'all want to talk about missing the kilo fruit so much, but you guys did not love the kilo as much as I did. I made an entire video where I learned the most deadly kilo combo and PvP'd with it and destroyed people with it. Hey. I like this so much, I even made another video where I traded the rarest fruit at the time, leopard, all the way down to the kilo. The leopard fruit at the time literally just released. And of course, we can't talk about the kilo fruit being removed from the game without also having the honorable mentions. The Doa Doa no Mi, the door fruit, which was changed to the portal. The soul fruit, which was then changed to the spirit. It was Big Mom's sun and the cloud beside you. Now it's like an ice ball and like a fireball. I don't know. All right, finally, the last thing that only Blox Fruits OGs will remember is back when people who were waiting for the Dragon rework update were still alive.